evening and welcome to Views with Joyce Waddell. We're talking to Flo August as we talk about the organization that she started. And the reason that I invited her is she'd been on many of the network television shows as she talked about the organization, the Haitian American Association of the Carolinas. She started this organization. She's the treasurer and she's the one that's keeping it going. It's in the Carolinas doing great things and bringing this Haitian community together. In spite of many of the things, downfalls, experienced in Haiti, the earthquake, and also the civil war they're fighting, this organization has stood in the forefront to help Haitians. They provided scholarships for students. They've provided relief for many who are suffering. So Flo is going to tell us about that organization, the strengths of it, and how it's so strong, and how we can embrace it and be a part of it. Hey, Flo.
Hello.
You were interviewed by many because they saw you as the face of the Haitian American organization.
Yes,
Are you the face of that organization?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the vice president, and I have been active on the board as an executive member since 2007.
So 2007, you were the president at one time, weren't you?
I was the secretary, and I gradually worked my way up. Now I'm the vice president.
Okay, when you say of the Carolinas, you're operating in North Carolina and South Carolina?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's a wide territory, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So you have Haitian communities in South Carolina also?
Yes, we do.
In what parts are they largest?
They, I would say, it had to be Greenville, South Carolina.
You have a lot of Haitians there?
Yes,
What size
Greenville.
population?
I would say about 3,000, and there also we have a lot in Columbia, South Carolina.
Now, what brings people from the country of Haiti to the Carolinas?
The reason why they come here because the living expenses is not as expensive as the bigger cities, and you still have growth as far as the community. Because other places, the living expenses is so expensive, you're not able to afford to maintain, and many of them come for school.
So they come North and South Carolina is cheaper than what other cities would they be going to?
Like New York and Miami. The reason why they will pick those major cities is because they have direct flight into Haiti. So us being here in North and South Carolina, you have to do a connecting flight to get to Haiti.
You have to go to New York.
New York or go to Miami.
And then to Haiti.
And then travel to Haiti.
There's not a direct flight from Charlotte?
Not from Charlotte. Not at all.
Not yet.
We're working on it.
Now, this organization that you're a part of, you have a mission, I'm sure, and you have a goal, and you have things that you want to accomplish as a result of it.
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that?
Our first goal is to recruit some more members so we can, have more volunteering and to help us with the legwork that needs to be done. We also want to help those who are in Haiti who are still victimized of the earthquake that took place about 4 years ago. Many of them are still living under a tent, so we have to be able to maintain their daily activities like eating and having a roof over their heads.
Now, in Haiti, you have two separate classes almost, the rich and the poor.
Yes.
Well, why aren't the rich people over there helping those poor people who are living under tents?
It's I would say in their part it would be a bit shallow or arrogant because they want you to look at them like they're your master because they're the one that have the funds. So many of them are not willing and able to share. They don't want to share because they want you to work under them to make them feel like you need them for you to survive. They don't want you to be in the same level as them.
Do you find that same thing happening in the United States in many instances?
I believe so. Thank God that we do have President Obama in office. And I believe if he had went the alternative way, it would be no middle class in the United States.
But the same things that you experience where people, the Haitians, you have separate groups here, I'm told, here in Charlotte, the same as you do over there, that even in your own community, have you experienced that?
Yes, we have. We have many people in our community. I'm speaking as a personal individual, not as the nonprofit. We have some people who are solely out for themselves. They're not really for the people. They're not trying to elevate anybody beside themselves. However, with the nonprofit, we're not based on a religion base. We're not based into politics. We are just here solely to help the community and help those who are unable to have a voice, especially those who are in Haiti, so they can have a voice.
Now, you have two separate groups here of Haitians in the United States, in Charlotte.
I would not say separate group. We have professionals, we have the working class, but yes, we just, people have different mindset.
Okay. The same as you have over there, even though you're in the same, but the same people.
Yes, it's all in your mind. So in other words, some of us want to work with the people, we are for the people. Some of us just solely want to deal with our immediate family, and that's it.
Okay. Now, the organization, the Haitian American Organization, is that the name of it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And your purpose is to help to send funds back to Haiti.
Yes, it is.
So, is it also to bring Haitians from the continent, from the city, from the island of Haiti here to the United States, or to Charlotte to work? Do you do that?
It's vice versa. We're trying to actually just promote the culture, trying to give aid to those who are in need, especially in Haiti. But we also trying to have growth here in Charlotte in the Haitian community, because we are also sometimes forgotten by the other nationality, because they don't know that we have so many Haitians in Charlotte. They assume if you have an accent, you either from the Virgin Island or from Africa. They rarely mention the Caribbean. So this is the part where I come in to have a voice, let them know that we have Haitians in Charlotte, and just to expose our culture.
Now, when they were doing all these interviews with you as a result of the earthquake, what was it that they were trying to do? What was the basic objective of it? Were they trying to get money? Were they trying to just fact find? What were they trying to do?
Actually, to tell you the truth, I just think that they wanted to bring some exposure, and also to diversify that we do have Haitians in Charlotte. Because when the earthquake took place, didn't even know, many people didn't even know that where was Haiti on the map, or that we have Haitians in Charlotte. So that clarified some of those questions or concerns that people that wanted to help, to let them know this is the channel that you need to go through just to reach the Haitian community.
Now, a lot of people were sending water, they were sending food, and that reached the people, did it not? But the money is the thing that did not reach.
Not only the money, we had some problems when we got to Haiti with some of those goods that was donated. Many churches had direct access to deliver those goods. Many of them could not deliver the goods because when you got to Haiti, the Haitian government wanted to tax you to unload that trailer or that container that was full of goods to help the people in Haiti.
So if they wanted to tax you to unload the water and the food, then what happened to it? You just let it sit there?
You let it sit there, and they end up having access to it, and they turn around and sold those goods to those people that was in need already.
Well, when people sent that, the churches sent that, were they not knowledgeable of that would take place?
They did not know that, because they were thinking in their mind, I am collecting goods for your people, for your country, because they are in need right now. So if me and my church or a nonprofit, we gather all these goods and funds to bring to your country, you should accept us with open arms and help us to help feed your people. But that wasn't the outcome that they got when they got to Haiti. They was taxing them a port fee just to get the goods off the ship in the containers.
Or maybe that's why they say send money, because if they tax you just to get the food off, then you may have paid just as much on the tax,
yeah,
as if you had purchased the food over there.
Yeah, and many people couldn't pay the fee because they just didn't have that kind of funds available. They end up just leaving the goods on the port and just coming back to the United States.
Well, was there no way that could be communicated to the people who were, they wanted to do something. They were benevolent, and they felt that this was the thing to do. So was there anything that helped them to know that this would happen?
No, they did not know that, because...
And some of them don't even know today.
No, they still don't know. A lot of them, they had great intentions of collecting and donating, and then however, even the funds that was collected never made it. A lot of it didn't make it to Haiti. A lot of those huge nonprofits that did accept the bulk of the funds never rendered those funds to the government, the Haitian government.
Well, what did they do with them? If they collected them and they said this is what we're going to do with them, they were obligated to do that.
If you read their bylaws, only 10%.
So if they collect $100, $1,000,
Give and take, you're lucky if $80 go toward that fund. And they tell you they don't have to justify where the fund was utilized because they pay an administration fees out of that money. And it's a nonprofit, it's tax-free.
so if people wanted to help, and billions of dollars did go over there. I mean, was collected for the cause, for the earthquake. If people wanted to help and wanted to feel that their funds were utilized appropriately, what should they have done?
Me, from my personal experience, not only I travel there often, so I know.
How often you go?
I just came back in February. I have family that still live there. We have a couple of orphanages that we help with, so my heart is still in Haiti. However, but those people who are willing to help, like I know the Salvation Army was very involved in Haiti. They have a base in Haiti, and you have to research who you are donating to, so you can know if it's going toward their administration fees or toward actually the cause that you are donating to. And also, you also have to. I have also worked with the Samaritan Purse. Samaritan Purse has also a base in Haiti, and they are hands-on. Those people, I trust them. And also a lot of local churches here in Charlotte did greater goods that did not get the bulk of that money that was collected on their behalf than the other huge nonprofits that did collected the money and never rendered that funds to Haiti. And until today, no one can ever answer or even want to discuss the topic of what happened with that money that was collected on behalf of Haiti.
And they don't have to.
They don't have to.
So with your organization, what would have been different had they collected the money and given it to the Haitian American organization? What would have been different? Would you advise, and would you say that's where the money should be going?
Yes, it should be, because we are not only we are Haitian descendant, many of us still have family and loved ones who lives in Haiti. It's a closer approach than making it go to, a chain of command of, you don't know who they are, and there's no paper trail to know what happened with that money. No one has jurisdiction to question anybody. So it's a sensitive topic, and nobody want to talk about it.
Audience, we'll continue to talk with Flo Auguste as we talk about the Haitian American Organization. That's an organization that she is involved with from the board up and was one of the founders of it, doing great work in this community for a group of people. She's shedding light on the goodness of the organization and how we can all embrace it because of the good work that organization is doing, and how we should all be a part of things that are good when it comes to helping people, when it comes to benevolence, because great work is happening there. Now, Flo, you have several members on your board, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the board very active?
It's very active. We're in need of volunteer, and we are also in need of having like our own personal space, because we don't have any funds right now for us to pay a building to keep it going.
So how do you meet? You in each other's homes?
Each in each other's homes. Sometimes we use a church. Sometimes we use like a park, recreational area, something like that.
But then you don't have a secretary, you don't have office space, you don't have a way to keep it going through social media.
No, we don't. So we do have a website that I manage through Facebook, so you can reach the Haitian community, and we also we do networking through churches, flyers, email, and texts.
With the 5,000 people that are here who are Haitian.
Not so much with them. We try to mingle through our community first, and we also mingle with the outside community as well.
When you talk about the people, the class system in Haiti that exists, the haves and the have-nots, do you also see that class system here with the haves and the have-nots?
Unfortunately, yes.
Because there are many Haitians who are in corporate America here.
Yes, but they all, like I say, they stick to their own. And I believe...
Well, they don't have their own. Their own is a part of the larger Haitian community, isn't it?
No, but not according to them. A lot of them grasp toward another nationality or another culture altogether. We have many people that came here from Haiti that's never been back. they live like as an American. Yeah, different mindset, different generation. They do things differently.
But then they don't have an allegiance to their culture.
No.
If they get in trouble,
Then they might want to claim, oh yes, I'm Haitian.
and then they come to the Haitian community,
Then
the
they
Haitian,
need help.
the Haitian American organization for
Yes.
help.
Yes.
And that's the way it is with other organizations that are
Yes.
designed to help.
Just like the sinners, they're not gonna call God's name when everything is going great. When the devil is at their doorstep, oh Jesus, then they remember there's God. Let me give praise to Allah, so on and so forth. It's the same thing.
But with a much smaller organization as yours, it's hard to envision that it would be that different, that you would have two different, distinct, separate classes.
Yeah, unfortunately, we cannot speak for everybody in Charlotte or the whole community, as a whole. But our job and our vision is to promote growth in the community, internally and externally.
And bring all Haitians together.
Yeah, not just Haitian, because we have different people on the board that's not Haitian. But we just want to bring light to certain topics and just exposure to those who are unaware of what's really going on in Haiti.
Audience, we'll continue to talk with Vwjw as we talk about the Haitian American Organization and the things that organization is doing here in Charlotte, reaching out so that they can expose us to Haitian culture and so that the Haitians will know their own culture, and so that funds that can be generated to help those in need in that country can be sent over there. So when you send money back to Haiti, who do you send it to if you can't trust people and you can't trust the government?
Actually, what I've done personally,
when your organization.
We have people on the board sometimes that will travel to go to Haiti directly to do it. Well, we use the old system. We go through MoneyGram or Western Union, and there's somebody in Haiti that you trust directly that will be in charge of that funds to make sure it's properly used.
Okay, so do you have a goal as an organization that the board will have to raise a certain amount to send back over there to help people?
We don't actually have a goal, because whatever amount that we get is better than none. But what we really want to do in Charlotte is for us to have our own facility where we can welcome those who come here for the first time. Maybe there's a language barrier, to help them, just to connect them to this community as far as jobs, housing, so on and so forth.
Artists, we're going to pause for a moment, and we're going to take you to some music that was in the studio not long ago. And then we're going to come back and talk about how we're all connected in some way and how we each must help each other, because that's the gifts that God has given us. Some of us have different strengths, but when we put them together and help each other, it makes a difference. And sometimes it doesn't matter what the culture is, each one helping others.
No matter what you're facing, no matter what you're going through, God has destined you to come out on top. Doesn't matter what it looks like. You, in the end, my friend, you're the winner. When it's all right and everything is clearly black and white, but what about those gray and stormy days? The ones that seem to truly test your faith. What else can you do? What more can you say? Just to make it through the day. Say no matter what, no matter where, I know that God is always there. No matter why, no matter when, I know this storm has got to win. And no matter how he sees me through, I know I win. It's easy to give praise when he comes through, and everything is working out for you. But what about those days and nights you pray and nothing ever seems to go your way? Well, this is what you do. This is what you say that will help increase your faith. Say,
No matter what,
no matter what,
no matter where,
no matter where I
know
am,
that God
is there, and no
matter why,
I gotta go
no
through,
matter when,
no matter when,
I know this storm has got to end. And no matter how he sees me through, I know I
He's so worthy of the praise I give. He's worthy of all I have. You know why?
God has made me victorious
In everything.
in everything.
That's how I know.
I know I will.
I can feel somebody's faith increasing. You made a decision that today's the last day. You cry about it and you start giving God praise. You already know He's at the end and He set your end from the beginning. You come out victorious because God said so. So start looking at your circumstances and say,
No matter what,
no matter what,
no matter where,
no matter where,
I know that
I know my God,
is always
He's always there.
no matter
And no matter why you gotta go
no
through it.
matter
The good news is you're gonna get
know
through
the
it.
storm
And that storm you're in,
has got
it's gotta end. Say it again.
no matter what,
No matter where,
no matter
no matter where you find yourself in life, you got to believe within you. God is right there.
no matter
And no matter what you gotta go through it, press on through it. Because at the end of the storm, there's your blessing. No matter what, no matter where, I know my God. He's always there. No matter why, no matter when, I know this storm has got to end. So bring it on, devil. All I can say, doesn't matter what you do to me, doesn't matter how hard you press against me, I'm the victorious one
always
because
there.
my God is there.
No matter what,
No matter why,
no matter
no matter when,
I know
I
this
declare
storm
today
has got
got
to
to
end.
She's in the green room. Audience, we'll continue to talk with Flo. August, as we talk about the Haitian American organization and how we all can be involved in helping each other, because I think that's what God would want us to do. Everybody help someone. And those who are more fortunate have an obligation to help those who are less fortunate. And sometimes we don't reach our obligation. Sometimes we fall short. But we each should be responsible for helping others. Sometimes our gifts are greater because we've had greater opportunities. But that doesn't mean that we should keep everything for ourselves. We must learn to share and must learn to be our brother's keepers. And so when you send the money over to Haiti, do you look for a particular cause that you're going to be working on, or it just goes anywhere?
It just goes anywhere because right now we have the building fund that we build the housing for those who were affected by the earthquake. There's supplies for the school. We have to furnish the building that that was built in their behalf. Materials for the kids like electronics, computers, stuff like that. We're looking for all sort of donations that we can send back to the Caribbean, so we can help those who are the less fortunate ones.
What seems to be some of the biggest obstacles of your organization if it's been in existence since 2007?
No, it's been around since 1999, but I got on the board in 2007.
Okay, 1999, and something has happened that caused you not to be as prosperous as you could have been.
I guess since it's a non-profit, you can't stay on the board forever. So every 2 years, they have to do a re-election. So people move, people relocate, job situations. That's the reason why the growth is so slow.
So you don't have the strength that you'd like to see it have.
Yes.
Well, what would happen if you merge your organization with another organization, another strong, powerful organization?
I can see, great things happening, but it's a volunteering opportunity. Nobody really want to work for free, and then some people sometimes they just don't have the patience. But if we was to merge with another nonprofit or someone that has better avenues to lead us to the right path, that would be great.
Then you could get your own building.
Yes.
And then you could get a lot of the things, your funding source would be greater.
Yes.
There'd be a lot of positive things going on.
Yes.
Because when you have just a small board, and you don't have an office where you can hire an executive director.
Yes.
And it's difficult to write grants, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
To get grant funding because they want to know what you're going to do with it, and you have to monitor that.
That's true. Yes. Those are some of the obstacles that are on our way.
Now, when you refer to people, sometimes you see people acting as Oreos. What do? That make them an Oreo.
Yeah, they forget where they come from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the meaning of that, because when you're looking at me from the outside, what do you see? You see a beautiful black young woman, but you don't know where I came from. You don't know my struggles. So therefore, we have to teach our children about their culture, just to be proud of who you are.
So do you participate in African American history?
Everything. Yes. I am African when you look at me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when they act as Oreos, what are they doing?
They have, I would say, Uncle Tomish mentality, to the point where we act like crabs in the bucket. Instead of elevating the next person, you are pulling them down.
Oh, okay.
And that does not progress any growth.
No, it doesn't. And so we want to thank you for being with us. And artists, we want to thank you too for being with us on Views with Joyce Waddell. I want you to tune in next week for another interesting program. I want to thank this crew. They're made up of volunteers, and they've been with me all day. For that, I'm truly grateful.